Hey beautiful people, welcome to my channel. Marina here. As always, it's so exciting to welcome you to another video. Long time no car rant. I've missed these car videos and I thought today would be a good day for us to have one of these our car conversations. When you see me sitting in this car, you know that's a serious topic, right? And as you can tell from the title, it is a serious topic. Well, first off, if you're finding me for the first time, welcome. Where have you been? My name is Marina. I live in Saskatoon, Saskatchewan, and on my channel I share information to make settling into life in Canada seamless for newcomers and foreign trained professionals. There's something for you to learn on this channel, so please do well to hit the subscribe button and join the family. To my OGs, my returning subscribers, my gang members, thank you very much for always coming back. So today, I am going to attempt to address this giant elephant that has been in the room that we've all been dancing around, and it's not funny anymore. And I thought today, let's just come and have a conversation about this. The number of people who move from their home countries and come to Canada, especially among African immigrants in Canada, in the US, in the UK, the stories are a lot. The number of people who move to these countries and then after a while you hear that their marriages have packed up is very disturbing. The trend is disturbing. This disturbing trend with families disintegrating is part of why I decided to go and get trained, and I took a family systems engineering program. As of today, I am an associate practitioner of family systems engineering, and I thought I would come share with you guys some of the things that I have learned that could be the reason why families disintegrate when they move from their home countries to these other countries. And you know, one major reason why I find that this is happening is that there seems to be cultural misalignment between couples. Now, when I say cultural misalignment, I don't mean people marrying from different cultures, like somebody from Nigeria marry somebody from a different country. That's not what I mean. You can have two people who are from the same state, the same region, even the same village. Two of you can be misaligned culturally, and it's some of these things that I want to talk about today. So when we talk about culture as a whole, we hear it a lot to say when African women move abroad, they no longer want to do the things that are our culture as Africans. They no longer want to do what is expected of African women. They now come abroad and they want to start to call the cops on their husbands, where they conveniently omit the part that she called the cops because the man slapped her. But no, let's all of us pretend as if the woman just wakes up and calls the cops, okay? Let's all just pretend that that's what happens. So all these complaints we hear, it's like women no longer want to be Africans. They now come abroad, they are now exposed. They no longer have respect for our culture. So today, today that's what I want us to talk about, that culture. What exactly is culture? The dictionary definition of culture is a way of life of a people, like a set of precedents, a set of standards that govern the way people live their lives, right? But there's an underlying silent qualifier of culture, which is time. It's a way of life of a people per time. There were things that were happening in the days of our grandparents that are not directly relevant today. The only difference between that time and now is time. Time has passed, things have evolved. It was not unusual back then, many, many years ago, say like in the days of my grandparents, for women not to be educated, for men not to even be educated. The girls were prepared for marriage, the men were taught trades for marriage to be able to take care of their families. So you find them as farmers, as hunters, as fishermen, things like that. The women predominantly stayed at home, raised children, would maybe sell the spoil that their husbands brought. So they'll be like petty traders. So that system was what worked at that time. In the days of my mother was educated. She went to school. She had a job outside of the house. My father worked and my mother worked. It was not typical in the days of my grandparents. What has happened? Time has passed. Things evolved. Things changed. And then coming to this present day, I am more educated than my mom. I work, my husband works. The reason why I'm talking about time is that if we go back to some of these things that we hold on to and say this is our culture as Africans, this is our African culture, what was the order of the day when these cultures were created? What was the order of the day when these cultures were handed down to us? Are those things that were prevalent at that time that governed some of these things that were handed down to us as culture, are those things still relevant today? Are those things still prevalent today? Those are the questions that we should ask. So before you insist that this is the way our culture is, remember that culture is made for the people. and not the people for the culture. So if there are any components of the culture that you're holding on to that does not seem like it is relevant or it is helping your family today, time has come for us to reevaluate how those cultures are applied. Time has come for us to sit down and say, okay, this thing that we have so held on to for all these years, it's our culture. Nobody is saying it's not our culture. Nobody is saying do away with your culture completely. I'm saying look at this culture again and determine if the application of that culture, the way you are applying the culture right now, especially with your family in the diaspora, is it still relevant? Is that application still relevant to the situation that you're in right now? When people move from one country to the other, especially when it is to a country where there's a different way of doing things, where things look predominantly different from what you have always known, it is important for you to sit down and ask yourself the difficult questions. Are we going to be able to continue our lives the way we knew it back in our home country? If the answer is yes, then by all means continue. But if the answer is yes, and it is only one person that is saying yes, then something is wrong. There's fundamental misalignment there. If you are saying that the way your family was run in your home country, you come to a country like Canada and you replicate that same thing, what was happening back in your home country, you have replicated it here, and it is working for both of you, then that's fine. Where it becomes a problem is where it seems like this application of culture is working for one person, the other person is dying under the weight and this expectation of this culture that's no longer sustainable. I'll give you a typical example. I have heard this thing so many times. I have never been a fan of it. I have never been a preacher of it. But I've heard a lot of women say, especially Nigerian women, I don't know if it happens in other African countries. If it does, please leave a comment below. I hear things like, my money is my money, his money is our money. Basically saying the man is 100% responsible for all of the bills in the house, and the woman, she just lounges with her own money. Now, back in Nigeria, where I come from, it is not unusual for men to be in that position where they are 100% responsible for all of the financial responsibilities in the house. It is not unusual. When you now move from Nigeria to a place like Canada, no matter how much money you are bringing, by the time you do the conversion, it is not the same. It's not the same thing. Like, you have to be really rich, or you have to be in a job where your salary is really good for one person to be able to take on all of the financial responsibilities in the family, running a family in a place like Canada. So as a woman, if I move here and I come with my husband and I see that this man who used to comfortably pay all our bills in our home country, I now come to this place and I see that my husband is struggling. I can see that, okay, he doesn't have a job that is commensurate with his education and his experience. And then suddenly I look away and watch this man struggle. I watch him get crushed with the heavy financial responsibilities that happen in a country like Canada. If that happens and I'm looking away, like me and you were earning an income, and then I keep my money and say, my money is my money, your money is our money, isn't that wickedness? Like, how do you look away from a man that you love, where your job is to love and support, and both of you are trying to build a family together? You look away and watch him get crushed under the responsibility of everything that he carries, because your money is your money. While in some places that's the culture, that the man is 100% responsible. But when you come to a country like Canada, you now have to sit down and revisit that culture and say, does this still apply? Is this still sustainable for us? Same thing with when it comes to like chores. When it comes to like house chores, there are some people who from their home country, I can use myself as an example for this one. I have first-hand experience. I had living help in Nigeria. I had a nanny, I had somebody who did everything. But coming here to Canada, of course I did not bring my nannies. Of course I did not bring a driver. I did not bring a security man. Nobody is washing the car. If you drop a cup, you are coming back to come and meet it where you dropped it. Will it now be sustainable where my husband didn't have to do chores because all of these chores were done? We had paid help. Will it now be sustainable for us to come to a country like Canada where both of us work? Then the expectation is that I will work, both of us will build our family, both of us will be financially responsible for our family, and then I will retain 100% of household chores. Is that fair? While it may be our culture, is the application of that culture fair? I think a very simple way to figure out if the culture that runs your family, a very simple litmus test that you can use to check if your the culture of your family is fair and if both of you are still aligned is ask yourself basic questions. Who is empowered by the things that you hold on to in your family? When you say, I'm a man, I'm not supposed to do dishes. I'm a man, that's beneath me as a man. Who does that empower? Anything that you do not do, especially if you have young children, anything that you do not do, it automatically means that it is falling on the other adult in the house, which will be your wife in this context. Who is getting empowered by that? Is there fairness? Does your wife work? Even though she doesn't work, is she taking care of children? Are there taking care of kids? Staying at home, by the way, is a full-time job, but we're not ready for that conversation. Who is empowered by this culture? Is this belief, the beliefs that you hold on to, is it fair to all the people who are involved? Does this belief allow everybody to flourish and be their best selves in that family? Does that culture allow everybody flourish? If the culture has any undertone of disempowering somebody or any undertone of oppression for one party, then time has come for us to revisit it. I understand that these conversations are a bit difficult to navigate. Sometimes it's hard to question the things that you have always known and to accept new beliefs. Well, that's why I come in. Help is available to help you navigate some of this and ask yourself these really difficult questions. If you are in that position where you're finding it difficult to have these conversations because you don't know how to, well, help is here. On November 23rd and November 24th, I will be offering a free webinar on strategies that can help you build a thriving marriage, especially for those of us in the diaspora. It is open to everybody, but I want especially those of us who have moved from our home countries to other countries. I'd like us to come together. Let us talk. Let's have these conversations and start to put things in their right order. We cannot afford not to be united as a team when we move from one country to the other. Even in your home country, you cannot afford not to be playing as a team with your husband or with your wife. So on November 23rd and 24th, we'll be offering this free webinar to help us build a thriving relationship. You guys, look, this is going to be a mutually beneficial arrangement because while that seminar is going to provide you very valuable information that you'll be getting for free, for me, it is conditioned for me to get my full designation as a family systems engineering practitioner. So please come out and support me. The registration link will be in the description box. The webinar is free, but registration is required. Guys, I'm hoping that we can have at least 50 of you sign up and attend this 2-day webinar where we'll be sharing very valuable nuggets. This one is free. Chances are subsequent ones will not. So please take advantage of it now while it is still free. Okay? So please come out, guys. Come support me. Come support me and my friends as we get this going. It is going to be valuable for you. It is important information that we all need to know, if I say so myself. So please do well to check the description box and hit the registration link. Fill in your details. You will get more information as we get closer. It's going to be on Zoom. It's going to be a virtual webinar. It's going to be on Zoom. So regardless of where you are, you'll be able to join in. So please register. Come out and support me. Okay? Thought I would come talk about this today just to level set the ground for some of the things that we're going to be talking about in the webinar, and also to just get people thinking. Like, when you say it's not our culture, what exactly does that mean? What exactly is your own culture? Culture can be rewritten. You can rewrite culture for the way that works for your family. The fact that that's how everybody else is doing it, that's how we've always known it, does not mean that it cannot be questioned. Because the truth is, while we're here fighting each other, you did not pay this, you did not do dishes, guess who's winning? While husband and wives are fighting each other, the enemy is targeting our children. And we're there fighting each other and watching it happen. The enemy that you people are playing with is not playing with us. In the famous words of Pastor Mildred, the devil you are playing with is not playing with you. The target is your children. As far as there is discord between husband and wife, the devil is going to keep winning. And we cannot continue to allow that. So if it means you going back to the drawing table to say, okay, what exactly do we want as a family? How exactly do we want this family to run? What exactly is the vision of this our family? If I do a poll now and say, how many of us have clear visions for our family that everybody in the family is aware of? How many of us have visions for our family? How many of us know where we're going as a family? What are the values that guide your family? Those are the conversations we should be sitting down to talk about and to draw up. And if you attend this webinar, you will know how to draw a vision for your family. That's what's going to govern the kind of things you do. So you're not going to waste time fighting who did dishes, who did not pay for this. No, there are bigger things to dwell on. Your family is like a football team. Think about how the 11 people on that pitch have to work together to make sure the goal is to win. The goal is to continue to win. And until those 11 people can be in sync and play towards a unified goal, a unified vision, the team is not going to win. And what is the relevance of a team if they're not winning anything? Think about your marriage as a team. Think about all the different pillars that should guide your family, like your values, your beliefs, your culture, your intellect, your fitness. All of those things come together to form the different players on your team. And until all of these components are working together, you're not going to be winning anything. And you cannot afford not to be winning, not in this world that we live in today. So people, the next time we say when people go abroad, they change, maybe the true question we should be asking is, change from what to what? That thing that you say that they are changing from, how did that thing empower anybody in the first place? If you were in a position where it seemed like you were trapped in a place where you were governed by cultures that did not empower you, and then you get an opportunity to break out of that, will you not take advantage of it? So guys, time has come for us to have these difficult conversations. You have to reevaluate what those things that you call culture, what does it mean? Is it relevant today? Is it still relevant today? As always, I enjoy hearing from you guys. So if you please share below, are there any changes that you have had to make? If you moved from one country to the other, or even if you lived in your home country, have there been any difficult conversations you have had? Are there changes that you have had to make sure that you are upholding cultures that empowers every member of your family and not just seem to empower one and oppress the other? Thank you very much for watching this video, guys. I hope it's getting you to the point where you're thinking about stuff. If you are thinking and you want to take this next step, please do well to register for that webinar. It is going to be worth your time, I assure you. And please come support me. I'm looking for 50 people, and I know that those 50 people are here on this channel. So please do well to hit that description box and register. I'll be happy to meet as many of you who can come on and join the webinar live. Thank you very much for watching this video. I hope you learned something from it, and until I come your way in the next one, it's Marina as always saying thank you and have an awesome day. Bye guys.